Fisher.
Mr. President, I come to the floor this afternoon to join a number of my colleagues because of my concern for the national security of the United States. Whether it's a terror attack, a cyber attack from a non-state actor, whether it's a threat from Russia or China or Iran, we in the United States are the targets of foreign adversaries every single day. But thanks to our intelligence community and the thousands of Americans who dedicate their lives to our security, we're safe. These brave men and women are counting on us to have their backs, which is why the nomination of Tulsi Gabbard is so concerning. Our adversaries will be thrilled if we confirm Tulsi Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence. No one more so than Russian President Vladimir Putin. Ms. Gabbard has not hidden her positive views of Russia and President Putin. While Ukrainians fight valiantly to protect their homeland and defend freedom and democracy, Tulsi Gabbard cozies up to Putin and publicly defends Russia's brutal invasion. The former Congresswoman has parroted Russian propaganda, saying that the war could have been avoided if NATO and the Biden administration had simply, and I'm quoting, simply acknowledged Russia's legitimate security concerns. And we know that a nominee is problematic when the Kremlin has such nice things to say about her. On November 17, 2004, a major Russian state-controlled news agency called Tulsi Gabbard Superwoman and noted her past appearances on Russian TV. Well, I don't relish the idea of America's Director of National Intelligence, a role that includes such sensitive responsibilities such as producing the President's daily brief and setting U.S. policy for intelligence sharing with foreign entities. I don't appreciate the fact that she's called Superwoman by a mouthpiece for the Kremlin. Not only does Putin have kind words for Ms. Gabbard, but they also share mutual friends, namely ousted Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad. Since her clandestine meeting with Mr. Assad in 2017, a visit that took place while she was serving in Congress, former Congresswoman Gabbard has faced numerous questions about why she went to Syria and arranged this meeting in the first place. She's answered none of those questions, nor has she provided any substantive details on her conversation with Assad. And in fact, Ms. Gabbard has repeatedly refused to call Assad what he is, and that is an enemy of the United States, a brutal dictator who is responsible for the deaths of hundreds of thousands of Syrians. Assad, who's Putin's best buddy in the Middle East, Assad, who's backed by Iran, whose regime openly seeks to undermine and destroy American interests and values worldwide. This is the person who co-presidents Musk and Trump want to lead our intelligence agencies, to spearhead our national security operations. Well, that doesn't make me comfortable sleeping at night. To talk amiably about a brutal dictator who's openly opposed to American interests and human rights, a dictator like Assad, and like Putin for that matter, shows at best a lack of judgment, and at worst, allegiance to our adversaries. And even in cases of proven espionage against the American intelligence community, the very organization that she seeks to lead, Tulsi Gabbard instead has sided with criminals. Of course, I'm speaking about her support for Edward Snowden. In 2020, while she was a member of the United States House of Representatives, she introduced a resolution suggesting that the federal government should drop all charges against Edward Snowden. There was only one other member who co-sponsored this resolution, and that was former Congressman Matt Gaetz. Now in 2025, Ms. Gabbard still refuses to call Snowden what he is, a traitor to the United States. When she was asked about that at her hearing, She was given several opportunities to indicate that she understood that Edward Snowden is a traitor who put at risk the lives of thousands of Americans in the intelligence community. She refused to acknowledge that he's a traitor. With such a track record, how are we supposed to expect that she will properly classify our enemies? How are we to expect that she would label Xi Jinping or Kim Jong-un as enemies of the United States, or simply as foreign leaders, or as friends? Who knows what Ms. Gabbard will do? I think there's a stark difference between our adversaries who want to undermine the United States and those who are our allies. And it doesn't appear that Tulsi Gabbard understands the difference. So how can the men and women of the intelligence community trust that Ms. Gabbard will protect their secrets? That she'll protect our secrets, the secrets of the United States? How many Russians are going to risk their lives to pass along information to our intelligence officers if they're worried that Ms. Gabbard will sell them out? How much will our allies in NATO and the Indo-Pacific share with Ms. Gabbard in charge? The work of American covert operations and intelligence gathering is based on one central principle, and that is trust. I wouldn't trust Tulsi Gabbard any further than I can throw her. I think this chamber faces a choice. We can choose to defend America's national security and keep our promise to our constituents to protect their lives and safety and their interests, or we can choose to give a gift to Vladimir Putin and our adversaries, to usher them into the inner halls of the American intelligence system. I know which choice I intend to make. I intend to vote no on Tulsi Gabbard, and I hope that my colleagues, particularly those across the aisle, at least some of them, will have the courage to do the same. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.